Welcome back to Just Keep Skating, you guys. Today we are going to do the no comply. Now this is actually a relatively new trick to me. I'm 38 and I only learned them a couple years ago. The reason is, back in the 90s, you weren't allowed to do no complies if you were a tech kid because it was seen as a regressive trick, putting your foot on the ground. We didn't do that because there was rules. Nowadays though, it's a free-for-all. So let's get into the no comply. So first off, I don't think this is actually the correct name. I think an actual no comply is when you go straight. So you're not turning 180, but you just kind of step off, spring it up, and go back on. And I can't do those. So we're gonna do the step off. I think it's called a 180 step off. That's what the no comply is actually called, a 180 step off. And yeah, clearly it helps if you're moving. But first, you need to understand this trick. And what it is it's a spring-loaded trick. So think of a catapult. That's basically what you're trying to create here. Okay, so what I mean by spring-loaded is you're gonna have one of your feet right here. So when I do a no comply, it's really, let's see where I have my foot. I just have my foot kind of right here. So the ball of my foot is right in the center of the tail. And that's gonna stop it from flipping one way or the other. And my other foot, and this is where the spring-loaded part comes in, is just hanging off the edge. So think of like stretching out a rubber band and you're ready to like let go. And that's basically what happens when you do a no comply. Is your front foot steps off and it's spring-loaded just like that. So watch again. You can really see that I'm putting tension across from this point to this point, and my board's ready to just snap up as soon as I step off. So that's how you get the actual popping and snapping action. So this trick definitely requires a little bit of speed, but it's a pretty basic trick. My son learned these before he could properly ollie. So that gives you an idea of like the simplicity of the trick and where it is in the progression. An ollie is a much harder trick than people think. All right, but let's do this. So I'm gonna come at you with just a little bit of speed here. You don't need much, just enough to get moving. So what we're gonna do, put our foot on the side of the board like this, and you're gonna do a scooping motion. I know I'm kind of far away. So step off, and that's the general idea, is you step off and scoop your foot around. So your back foot, just basically as soon as it pops, your back foot scoops the board around, and this foot stays on the ground and gets ready to jump back on. So you can slow these down a little and work up to them progressively. So you can just focus on that little snap. And then you can get on. You do that again. Just a little snap. You can delay the getting back on. Okay, so another thing is tall people have an advantage on this trick. So I have a lot of leg space that the board can move around in. When you do this trick, you sort of create a gap for the board to come in. Let's do a clean one here. So as you see, I can clearly create that space for the board to come around in. But if you're short or young, like my son, you can see that the way he does it is he kind of puts the board in front of him more. So it's a longer stretch with that leg in order for him to be able to get it, but he can still do them. Even at 10 years old, he learned them. And he was, you know, not a big 10, a smaller 10. Not a teeny 10, just a medium 10. So as you get better at them, you start to speed it up, and then eventually you get to the point where it actually gets pretty easy. So I love no complies. I do them all the time, every time I skate. The reason I do them is they're the perfect warm-up trick for me. Because at 38, my ankles don't flex the same way they used to. My knees hurt when I first start skating. It takes me 20 minutes to get into the session. But when I do no complies, it doesn't use any of the things that are sore. 20 minutes into the session, I'm nice and warmed up, thanks to no complies. Anyways, you guys, hopefully you get the general idea of how this trick works. Let's get to a little montage. Well, hopefully between that montage, the words I said, and your will to get a 180 step off, also known as a no comply, you're gonna get some sweet no complies. So I wanna say thanks for watching Just Keep Skating. Most importantly, you wanna get the most out of your time on board? It's simple, just keep skating. You can watch all the videos you want, but if you're not out there doing it, it's not gonna happen. So, till the next one, you guys. Let me know in the comments what tricks you're interested in seeing tutorials on. I'm sure there's going to be a bazillion. Also, if you want to dive into the finer aspects of riding a skateboard and skateboard gear, you can check out my other channel known as Ben DeGrow, just my name. We talk about all things skateboard product related. Well, all things I like to ride. And with that, I will stop rambling and let you get back to whatever it was you were doing.